The Betrayal Blueprint. Part 1. Foundations. Chapter 1. Aaron, the beginning. Then. I was 7 years old when I first told Sasha Jones I was going to marry her. We were sitting on the rusted swing set behind Jefferson Elementary, our legs pumping in unison as we tried to see who could go higher. The chain links creaked with each arc, and Sharon's cornrows, beaded at the ends with pink and white, clicked together like wind chimes. "You can't marry me, Aaron Brown," she'd said, laughing so hard she nearly fell off her swing. "We're just kids." "Not now," I'd replied with the absolute certainty only a child possesses. "When we grow up. When I'm somebody." She'd stopped pumping then, letting her swing slow to a gentle sway. Her brown eyes, the color of honey held up to sunlight, had studied me with unexpected seriousness. "What kind of somebody?" she'd asked. "The kind who changes things," I'd said. "The kind who makes sure people like us don't have to be scared all the time." My mama worked 3 jobs. We lived in a neighborhood where gunshots were as common as birdsong, where you learned to hit the floor before you learned to ride a bike, where security meant deadbolts and prayers, not protection. Sharon had nodded slowly. "I want to be somebody too. I want to make beautiful things. Things that make people feel something. Then we'll do it together," I'd said, reaching across the space between our swings to grab her hand. "Promise." Her small fingers had wrapped around mine. "Promise." Now, 28 years later, I'm standing in my corner office on the 42nd floor of the Brown Security Solutions headquarters, looking out at the Chicago skyline, and I should feel like I've made it. I've made it. From that scared kid in the projects to CEO of the largest private security firm in the Midwest. We specialize in surveillance systems so sophisticated they can identify a threat before it materializes. Our client list reads like a Fortune 500 directory. Last quarter's revenue, $847 million. And I did it with Sharon by my side, just like we promised. She built Jones Brown Advertising into a powerhouse. Creative campaigns that don't just sell products but shift culture. She's been featured in Forbes, Essence, Adweek. The woman is a force of nature. We've been married for 12 years. Together for 20. Built an empire with nothing but dreams and determination and each other. My phone buzzes. A text from Sharon. "Dinner at Alinea tonight, 8 p.m. Wear the Navy Tom Ford. I have news. Red heart." I smile, typing back. "You're lucky I love you. That's the 3rd time this month you've made me squeeze into that suit." 3 dots appear. "Then you look edible in it. That's exactly why I make you wear it. See you tonight, baby." My chest warms. 12 years, and she still makes me feel like that kid on the swing set, reaching across the space between us. I should have known. Nobody's that perfect. Nobody loves you that completely without wanting something in return. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That realization, that soul-crushing, foundation-shattering truth, is still 3 days away. Right now, standing in my office with my wife's text message glowing on my screen, I'm still the luckiest man alive. I'm still Aaron Brown, the man who kept his promise. I'm still in love with a woman who's planning to destroy me. Chapter 2. Sharon, the architect. Then, Aaron Brown proposed to me when I was 7 years old. He didn't have a ring, just a twist tie from a bread bag that he wrapped around my finger with such solemnity you'd think it was platinum. We were on that old swing set, the one that should have been condemned years before but somehow kept standing, much like everything else in our neighborhood. "When we grow up," he'd said, "I'm going to give you everything. Everything you deserve." I believed him. God help me, I believed every word. We grew up together. First kiss at 13 behind the basketball courts. Lost our virginity to each other at 17 in his mama's apartment while she worked the night shift at the hospital. Applied to colleges together, him to Northwestern for criminal justice, me to the School of the Art Institute. He worked 2 jobs to help me with my tuition when my scholarships fell short. I worked internships and freelance gigs to help him buy his first surveillance equipment. We built our dreams in tandem, brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice. And somewhere along the way, that twist-tie bread bag ring became a 2-carat diamond. Somewhere along the way, we stopped being Aaron and Sharon, 2 kids from the South Side, and became the Browns, a power couple, a success story, a fucking fairy tale. Somewhere along the way, I forgot what I wanted before I wanted him. Now, the new creative director starts Monday. Damon Jackson. The name alone sends electricity down my spine, the dangerous kind, the kind that comes before thunder. I haven't seen him in 15 years. Not since he left Chicago for New York with dreams bigger than both of us could fit inside. We were 18, and he'd been my first everything before Aaron became my only everything. "You sure about this hire?" My CFO, Patricia, asks during our executive meeting. She's flipping through Damon's portfolio on her tablet, her perfectly shaped eyebrows raised. His track record is impressive, but there are some questions about his last company. Allegations of corporate espionage. Allegations, I repeat, letting the word hang in the air. Never proven. And his creative vision is exactly what we need to take Jones Brown to the next level. We're not just selling advertising anymore, Pat. We're selling transformation. What I don't say, Damon reached out to me 6 months ago. A DM on LinkedIn that started professional and became anything but Sasha Jones. Or should I say Sharon Brown now? "Congratulations on your success. Though I always knew you'd be magnificent." We'd started messaging, then texts. Then phone calls late at night when Erin was traveling for business, when the house felt too big and too empty and too much like a museum of someone else's dreams. Damon reminded me of who I was before I became Mrs. Erin Brown. Before I became the supporting actress in my own life story. I want to create something legendary with you, Damon had said during one of those late-night calls, his voice low and intimate in my ear. We were always meant to build empires together, Sharon. You and me. We understand ambition. We understand hunger. I'm married, I'd reminded him, but the words felt hollow. To a security guard who got lucky, Damon had replied. You're an artist, baby. A visionary. Don't you ever feel like you're being diminished? Playing second fiddle to a man who watches cameras for a living. The words had struck something deep. Something I'd been ignoring for years. Erin is good. Erin is kind. Erin loves me with a devotion that's almost religious. But Erin also makes me feel small. Not intentionally, never intentionally. But when you're married to someone that good, someone that noble, someone whose moral compass never wavers even a degree, there's no room for the darker parts of yourself. The ambitious parts. The ruthless parts. The parts that want to burn the whole world down just to see if you can. Schedule the interview, I tell Patricia, closing my laptop with a decisive click. I want him to start as soon as possible. My phone buzzes. Erin, you're lucky I love you. That's the third time this month you've made me squeeze into that suit. I smile, crafting my response with the same attention I give to my most important campaigns. You look edible in it. That's exactly why I make you wear it. See you tonight, baby. It's not a lie. Erin does look incredible in that suit. The navy Tom Ford that hugs his shoulders and makes his deep brown skin look like expensive cognac. But that's not why I want him to wear it tonight. Tonight, I'm having dinner with Damon. Erin's having dinner at Alinea, a reservation I made in my name but called to change this afternoon. He'll show up alone. The maitre d' will apologize profusely. Explain there was a terrible mix-up with the reservation. Erin will be understanding because that's what Erin does. He'll grab takeout on the way home, probably surprise me with my favorite dessert from that bakery in Hyde Park. And while he's being perfect, predictable Erin, I'll be across town at Gibson's, remembering what it feels like to be wanted by someone who sees me as an equal, not a pedestal ornament. I should feel guilty. The old Sharon, the girl on the swing set with beads in her hair and dreams in her eyes, would feel guilty. But that girl is gone. She disappeared somewhere between the third charity gala and the 50th time Erin introduced me as my beautiful wife, Sharon, instead of Sharon Brown, CEO of Jones Brown Advertising. In her place is a woman who understands that power isn't given. It's taken. And I'm about to take everything. Chapter 3. Damon, the Catalyst. Then, I've always been the kind of man who sees the angles. While other kids in the neighborhood were playing basketball or selling drugs on corners, I was studying. Not books, though I did that too, but people, systems, weaknesses. By 15, I'd figured out how to hack into the school's database to change grades. Not for myself, I was smart enough without cheating. But for a price, I'd make sure Marcus, the quarterback, kept his GPA high enough to stay on the team. For a price, I'd ensure Tasha, the valedictorian's competition, suddenly had a mysterious C appear on their transcript. Supply and demand. Simple economics. Sharon Jones was different from the others. She didn't want anything from me except my time, my attention. My ambition matched to hers like puzzle pieces clicking into place. We were 16 when we first slept together, in my cousin's apartment while he was locked up on a possession charge. She'd worn a yellow sundress that made her skin glow like gold, and when she'd looked at me with those honey brown eyes, I'd felt something I didn't have a name for, something dangerous, something like vulnerability. What do you want, Damon? She'd asked afterward, her head on my chest, her fingers tracing patterns on my skin. Like really want. Not the shit you tell everyone else. Everything, I'd answered honestly. I want so much that there aren't words for it yet. I want to matter. I want power. I want people to know my name and feel something when they hear it. She'd been quiet for a long moment. Then, what about me? Do you want me? I kissed her instead of answering, because the truth was complicated. I wanted her the way a collector wants a rare painting, the way a king wants a crown. Not because of love, I didn't believe in love then, still don't, not really, but because she was magnificent and magnificent things should belong to magnificent people. But Sharon wanted the fairy tale, the promise, the forever, and I couldn't give her that. Not then. Not when New York was calling, when opportunities were breaking open like fault lines, when staying in Chicago felt like choosing death over life. So I left, and she chose Erin Brown. Safe, stable, stupidly noble Erin Brown. I'd watched their rise from a distance over the years, followed their success with the clinical interest of a scientist observing an experiment. Erin built his security empire. Sharon built her advertising kingdom. They were the perfect power couple, at least on paper. But I knew something Erin didn't. I knew Sharon, the real Sharon underneath the polish and the press releases. I knew she was a tiger pacing in a cage, and eventually that tiger was going to want out. Now, the first time I see Sharon again, she's standing in the lobby of Jones Brown Advertising, backlit by the floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook Michigan Avenue. 15 years, and she's even more stunning than I remembered. Her natural hair is styled in an elegant twist. Her burgundy suit is tailored within an inch of its life. But it's her eyes that stop me. Still that impossible honey brown. Still sharp enough to cut diamond. Damon Jackson, she says, extending her hand with perfect corporate professionalism, but there's a tremor in her voice only I would catch. Welcome to Jones Brown. I take her hand, letting my thumb brush across her knuckles. Sharon. Or should I call you Mrs. Brown in the office? Something flashes in her eyes. Irritation? Desire? Both? Sharon is fine, she says coolly, withdrawing her hand. Let's discuss your role. We move to her office, a corner space that screams success without shouting. Everything is clean lines and understated luxury. Photos on her desk. Sharon and Aaron at various events, always looking camera ready, always smiling those smiles that don't quite reach the eyes. I recognize that smile. I've worn it myself. Your portfolio is impressive, Sharon begins, settling behind her desk with practiced ease. But I need to know, are the allegations about your last company true? I lean back in my chair, letting a slow smile spread across my face. What do you think? I think, she says carefully, that you're exactly as ruthless as you've always been, and I think that's exactly what I need. There it is, the admission, the crack in the perfect facade. For the company, she adds quickly, we're entering a new phase, going after bigger clients, bigger campaigns. We need someone who understands how to play the game at that level. And Aaron? I ask casually, what does he think about bringing me on board? Her jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Aaron trusts my judgment when it comes to business decisions. That's not what I asked. We stare at each other across her desk, and the air between us crackles with 15 years of unfinished business. He doesn't know, she finally admits, about us, about before. And you want to keep it that way. I want, she says slowly, standing and moving to the windows, to build something that's mine, not ours, not his, mine. I join her at the window, standing close enough that I can smell her perfume. Something expensive and complicated, unlike the body spray she used to wear in high school. Brown Security Solutions, I say quietly. Annual revenue north of $800 million. That's a lot of money, Sharon. She doesn't look at me, but I see her pulse jump in her throat. I don't know what you're implying. I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. Aaron built something valuable. Surveillance systems, security protocols, proprietary technology. And all of it started with your money, didn't it? Your advertising contracts that funded his early prototypes. Your connections that got him his first major clients. Now she does look at me, and her eyes are blazing. Be very careful, Damon. I'm always careful, I reply. That's why I'm still standing. That's why I'm here in your office about to take a job that I don't actually need. Because I see the angle, Sharon. And I think you see it too. What angle is that? I lean in close, my lips nearly brushing her ear. The one where you take back everything you're owed. Where you stop playing second chair in your own orchestra. Where you finally become who you were always meant to be. She's trembling now just slightly. From anger or desire or the intoxicating possibility of it all. I can't tell. Maybe all three. Aaron Brown Enterprises. I continue, pulling back just enough to look in her eyes. That's what his company should be called. But it's not, is it? It's Brown Security Solutions. Neutral. Forgettable. Safe. He's not a king, Sharon. He's a technician who got lucky. And you? She asks, her voice barely above a whisper. What are you? I'm the man who's going to help you become a queen, I answer. If you're brave enough to take what you deserve. This is the moment. The inflection point. The place where loyal wives choose their husbands and ambitious women choose themselves. Sharon's chest rises and falls with heavy breaths. Her eyes search mine, looking for something, reassurance, maybe, or permission to become the person she's been suppressing for 12 years. Then she steps back, smoothing her suit with shaking hands. Your start date is Monday. HR will send you the paperwork. Welcome to Jones Brown, Mr. Jackson. Professional. Distant. The mask is back in place. But as I leave her office, I'm smiling, because I saw it. That flash of hunger. That glimpse of the tiger behind the bars. Aaron Brown has no idea what's coming for him. And honestly, part of me feels sorry for him. He's a good man in a game that doesn't reward goodness. But mostly I feel excited. Because watching Sharon Brown, embrace her darker nature, that's going to be a masterpiece. Part 2. The Unraveling. Chapter 4. Aaron the Crack. 3 days after Sharon's dinner that never happened. She'd apologized profusely, said a client emergency came up, arrived home at midnight smelling like expensive wine and something else I couldn't name. I'm in my home office reviewing contract proposals when my phone buzzes. I reach for it absently, my mind still half focused on the security specs for the new hospital contract we're bidding on. The text preview on my lock screen makes my blood run cold. Sharon. Phase 1 complete. He suspects nothing. Meeting with our lawyers Friday to discuss the transfer protocols. Once you're officially CD, we can start moving his assets. The offshore accounts are ready. I can't wait to watch his face when he realizes what he's lost. What we've won. God. Just thinking about it makes me wet for you. My hand goes numb. The phone slips through my fingers, clattering onto my desk. I stare at it like it's a venomous snake. This is a mistake. Has to be. Some kind of spam? Hack? A sick joke? But no. The message is from Sharon's number. From my wife's phone. My hands are shaking as I pick up the device, unlock it, read the message again. And again. He suspects nothing. His assets. His face. We've won. The words rearrange themselves in my mind like a puzzle I don't want to solve but can't stop assembling. I scroll up through our message history. Everything above this text is normal. Mundane. Don't forget we have the charity gala Saturday. Love you, baby. Can you pick up my dry cleaning? No indication that anything is wrong. That my wife of 12 years is talking about stealing my assets. About watching my face when I realize what I've lost. I can't wait to watch his face when he realizes what he's lost. A sound escapes me. Something between a laugh and a sob. It echoes in the silence of my office like a gunshot. She doesn't know. Sharon doesn't know she sent this to me. She meant to send it to someone else. Meeting with our lawyers. Once you're officially CD. Creative director? My mind races through the past few weeks, looking for clues I missed. Sharon's been distracted lately, spending more time at the office. She hired someone new. What was his name? Jackson. Damon Jackson. I grab my laptop, my fingers flying across the keyboard. Damon Jackson. CEO. Security company. The search results populate and my stomach drops. Damon Jackson, former CEO of Sentinel Security Systems, a New York-based company that went under 2 years ago amid allegations of corporate espionage and fraud. No charges filed, but the smell of scandal lingers on every article. And now he's my wife's new creative director at Jones Brown Advertising. Except he's not a creative director, is he? He's a competitor, a rival, a fucking thief. And my wife is helping him steal my company. I should call her, confront her, demand answers. But something stops me. Some instinct honed by years of security work, of surveillance, of watching and waiting for the right moment to move. If Sharon doesn't know she sent this message to me, if she still thinks her secret is safe, then I have an advantage. The only advantage I'm likely to get. I screenshot the message, send it to 3 different email accounts, backup drives, encrypted cloud storage, evidence, protection. Then I delete the screenshot from my phone and take a breath. My hands have stopped shaking. My heartbeat has slowed. The initial shock is giving way to something else. Something colder. I've spent my entire adult life protecting people. Building systems to keep them safe. Anticipating threats before they materialize. I never thought the biggest threat would come from inside my own home. From the woman I've loved since I was 7 years old. The woman I gave everything to. The woman who's planning to destroy me. My wife comes home at 8:30. I hear her heels clicking on the hardwood floor of our foyer. Hear her sigh as she drops her bag on the console table. Aaron? She calls out. Baby, you home? In the kitchen? I respond. My voice steady despite the hurricane raging in my chest. I'm making dinner. Salmon, roasted vegetables, her favorite wine already breathing on the counter. I look like the perfect husband preparing the perfect meal. I feel like a stranger in my own skin. Sharon appears in the doorway and for a moment, just a flash. I see her the way I always have. Beautiful. Brilliant. Mine. Then I remember. I can't wait to watch his face when he realizes what he's lost. Something smells amazing, she says, crossing to me and sliding her arms around my waist from behind. She presses her face between my shoulder blades. You're the best husband in the world. You know that. The knife in my hand trembles. Rough day, I ask, keeping my tone light. Exhausting, she murmurs. The new creative director started this week. Brilliant guy, but the adjustment period is intense. I've been in meetings nonstop. Damon Jackson, right? She stiffens slightly, just a fraction, but I feel it. How do you know his name? You mentioned him last week. I lie smoothly. Said you were excited about the hire. Oh, right. She relaxes again, kissing my back through my shirt. He's going to take Jones Brown to the next level. I can feel it. I bet you can, I think viciously, but what I say is, that's great, baby. I'm proud of you. We eat dinner like we always do. She tells me about her day, a carefully edited version, I now realize. I tell her about mine. We discuss the upcoming charity gala, debate whether to vacation in Turks and Caicos or Bali this winter, laugh at some idiotic celebrity scandal making the rounds on social media. We're the perfect couple having the perfect evening in our perfect home. And every second of it is a lie. After dinner, we move to the living room. Sharon curls up against me on the couch, her head on my shoulder as we pretend to watch some documentary about ocean life. My phone is on the coffee table, face up, screen dark. Did I get any messages while we were eating? Sharon asks casually. Too casually. I don't know. I wasn't checking your phone. No, I mean, did my phone buzz or anything? I'm expecting an important message from a client. She's checking, making sure Damon or whoever she meant to send that text to received whatever message she sent. Didn't hear anything, I tell her. She shifts, reaching for her phone. I watch her face as she unlocks it, see the micro-expression of relief that flashes across her features before she schools it into neutrality. She doesn't see the message, because she sent it to me, and I didn't respond, which means she thinks it went to the right person. To Damon, to whoever's helping her plot my destruction. Everything okay? Ask. Fine. she says brightly, setting the phone back down. Client hasn't responded yet. I'll follow up tomorrow. She cuddles back against me, and I wrap my arm around her like always. Like nothing's wrong. Like I don't know. Like my world hasn't just imploded. Later, in bed, she reaches for me. Her hands slide under my shirt. Her lips find mine, and my body responds even as my mind screams in protest. This is how betrayal works, I realize. It's not clean. It's not simple. You don't stop loving someone just because they've destroyed you. You love them and hate them simultaneously. You crave them and recoil from them. You want to protect them and obliterate them with the same desperate intensity. We make love, if you can call it that. And afterward, Sharon falls asleep with her head on my chest, her breathing slow and even. I stare at the ceiling, her phone charging on the nightstand next to her, mine dark in my hand. The message is still there. Evidence of her betrayal. Proof that everything I believed was built on sand. He suspects nothing. But he does, Sharon. He suspects everything now. And he's going to find out exactly what you're planning. And then you're going to learn that the man you married, the good man, the noble man, the man who's loved you since he was 7 years old, that man knows how to hunt. Chapter 5, Sharon, the Intoxication. Damon Jackson makes me feel like I'm 20 years old again. Not in the sweet, nostalgic way. In the dangerous way. The way that makes you forget consequences. The way that makes you believe you're invincible. We're in my office technically reviewing campaign strategies for a new client pitch, but really, we're playing a different game entirely. You're distracted, Damon observes, leaning back in the chair across from my desk. He's wearing a charcoal suit that probably cost more than most people's monthly salary, and he wears it like armor, like power made tangible. I'm focused, I counter. You're thinking about something else. His eyes, dark and knowing, pin me in place. Or someone else. Aaron suspects nothing. I say quietly, glancing toward my office door to ensure it's fully closed. I checked his calendar. He's in meetings all day tomorrow. We can meet with the lawyers to finalize the transfer protocols. The offshore accounts are ready? Ready and waiting. I allow myself a small smile. Once we file the corporate restructuring paperwork, Brown Security Solutions assets will gradually shift into holding companies I control. Aaron won't notice until it's too late. He trusts me completely. The words should make me feel guilty. They don't. They make me feel powerful. And after, Damon asks, after we've taken his company, his money, his legacy, what happens to Aaron? I meet his gaze. That's not my concern. Sharon. Damon stands, moving around my desk with predatory grace. He leans against the edge, close enough that I can smell his cologne. Something woody and expensive. Be specific. What happens to your husband? My pulse quickens. Why does it matter? Because I need to know how far you're willing to go. He reaches out, running a finger along my jawline with agonizing slowness. Are you willing to destroy him? Completely? The old Sharon, the one who made promises on swing sets and believed in forever, recoils. But that's not who I am anymore. Yes, I whisper. Damon's smile is wolf-like. Satisfied. Good. Because halfway measures won't work here. Aaron Brown is smarter than you give him credit for. If we're going to do this, we have to be absolutely ruthless. I know what Aaron is. I snap, irritation flaring. I've been married to him for 12 years. I know exactly how smart he is, how careful, how fucking good he is. That's the problem. He's so good that there's no room for anything else. No room for ambition beyond his narrow vision. No room for me to be anything except his beautiful, supportive wife. Then take what's yours. Damon murmurs, his hand moving to cup my face. His thumb brushes across my lower lip. Take everything. The air between us crackles. This is wrong. I'm married. I made vows. I built a life with Aaron, brick by painful brick. But God, I want this. Want Damon. Want the way he sees me, not as Aaron's wife but as an equal. Partner. A queen. We need to be careful. I say, even as I lean into his touch. Careful is boring. Damon's other hand finds my hip, pulling me closer. And you've been careful for years. How's that working out for you? I should push him away. Should remind him that this is a business arrangement. Nothing more. Instead, I kiss him. It's not gentle. It's not sweet. It's 15 years of suppressed desire igniting like gasoline meeting flame. Damon responds instantly, his hands tangling in my hair, his mouth claiming mine with an intensity that makes my knees weak. This is what I've been missing. This is what Aaron, safe, predictable Aaron, could never give me. This is what it feels like to be consumed. We break apart, both breathing hard. Damon's eyes are black with want, and I know mine mirror his. This complicates things. I manage. This is things, he corrects. This is what makes it all worth it, Sharon. Power is nothing if you have no one to share it with. No one who truly understands what it cost. I want to argue. Want to maintain some semblance of professional boundaries. But he's right. I pull him back to me, and this time when we kiss, there's no hesitation. No guilt. Just raw, desperate need. My phone buzzes on my desk. I ignore it. It buzzes again. Answer it. Damon murmurs against my lips. It might be important. Reluctantly, I pull away and grab my phone. A message from Aaron. Don't forget we have the charity gala Saturday. Love you, baby. Simple. Sweet. So fucking Aaron. I type back quickly. Never forget. Love you too. Damon watches me, his expression unreadable. Does it bother you? Lying to him? No. I answer honestly. It would bother me more to keep pretending I'm someone I'm not. Good answer. He stands, adjusting his suit, all business again. The lawyers are expecting us Friday at 3. Don't be late. I won't. He moves toward my office door, then pauses, looking back at me. One more thing. We need to discuss Aaron's elimination. The word hangs in the air like poison. Elimination. I repeat slowly. You didn't think we could just take his company and ride off into the sunset, did you? Damon's voice is casual, conversational, as if he's discussing dinner plans. Aaron will fight back. He'll sue. He'll investigate. He'll use every resource at his disposal to destroy us. Unless what? Unless he can't. Damon's smile doesn't reach his eyes. I know people, Sharon. People who can make problems disappear. Permanently. My mouth goes dry. You're talking about killing him. I'm talking about eliminating an obstacle. Damon crosses back to me, his hands framing my face. But only if you're ready. Only if you're willing to go that far. Because once we cross this line, there's no going back. I should say no. Should scream it. Should call the police, warn Aaron. Run as far and fast as I can. But that would mean giving up everything. The power. The freedom. The intoxicating possibility of becoming who I was always meant to be. That would mean returning to the cage. Let me think about it. I whisper. Damon kisses my forehead. A gesture that's almost tender. Don't think too long. The window for this to work is narrow. And Sharon? Yes. When you do decide, and you will decide because I know you, I know who you really are underneath all that corporate polish. Don't tell me you're doing it for us. Don't tell me you're doing it for the money or the power. Then why am I doing it? His smile is terrible and beautiful. Because you want to. Because some part of you has wanted this since the moment you realized Aaron would never see you as anything except his prize. His achievement. His good deed. He leaves. And I'm alone in my office with the truth ringing in my ears. Damon's right. I do want this. I want Aaron gone. I want his company. I want to watch his perfect world crumble while I rise from the ashes. I want to stop being the good wife, the loyal partner, the woman who buried her dreams to support someone else's. I want to be free, even if freedom costs everything. Chapter 6. Damon the player. I'm 3 moves ahead. I'm always 3 moves ahead. Sharon thinks this is about stealing Aaron's company. About revenge or ambition or the intoxicating rush of taking what you're owed. And sure, that's part of it. But it's not the whole picture. The whole picture is this. I'm going to destroy Aaron Brown and take his empire. I'm going to make Sharon fall so deeply in love with me that she'll do anything. Anything. I ask. And then, when the dust settles and Aaron's ashes are scattered and his company is mine, I'm going to discard Sharon too. Because the thing about tigers is this. They're magnificent, powerful, deadly, but they're also predictable. And predictable things? They're easy to control. I'm in my temporary office at Jones Brown. A corner space that Sharon insisted I have, complete with views of Michigan Avenue and enough square footage to land a plane. When my phone rings. Marcus Torres. My lawyer. The kind of lawyer who doesn't ask questions. Just solves problems. Talk to me. I answer. The preliminary paperwork is ready, Marcus says in his smooth baritone. Corporate restructuring agreements, asset transfer protocols, offshore holding company registrations. Everything you requested. But Damon, I have to advise you again. This is legally questionable territory. If Brown catches wind of what you're planning. He won't. I interrupt. Aaron Brown is too busy being noble to see what's happening right under his nose. And Mrs. Brown? Sharon? You're confident she's fully committed. I lean back in my chair, a smile playing at my lips. Completely. She'll sign whatever I put in front of her. The offshore accounts are established under shell corporations. Marcus continues. Once Brown Security Solutions begins the restructuring process, assets will gradually transfer into holdings that Sharon technically controls but that you have ultimate access to. It's elegant, I'll give you that. But if he has forensic accountants, by the time they untangle it, it'll be too late. And the other matter? Marcus asks carefully. The permanent solution? I'm quiet for a moment, weighing my words. Even encrypted phone lines aren't completely secure. Still evaluating that option, I finally say. But have your contacts ready. I may need them soon. Damon, killing a man is different from stealing his company. Is it? I ask genuinely. Both end with him losing everything that matters. One is just faster. Marcus sighs. I'll have everything ready for Friday's meeting. 3 o'clock. Don't be late. I'm never late. I hang up and turn to the windows, looking out at the Chicago skyline. Somewhere out there, Aaron Brown is in his office, completely oblivious to the storm gathering around him. Part of me respects him. He built something real from nothing, grew up in the same neighborhood I did, worse even, and clawed his way to success through sheer determination and talent. But respect doesn't mean mercy. The strong devour the weak. That's nature. That's business. That's life. And Aaron's fatal weakness is the same as most good men. He believes the world is fundamentally fair. He believes that if you work hard, stay honest, treat people right, you'll be rewarded. He's wrong. The world doesn't reward goodness. It rewards ruthlessness, strategy, the willingness to do whatever it takes. My phone buzzes with a text from Sharon. Dinner tonight? Just us. Need to discuss Friday. I smile. She wants to meet outside the office. Wants privacy for what she thinks is our joint planning session. What she doesn't realize is that every meeting, every conversation, every stolen kiss in her office, it's all part of my plan. I'm not falling for Sharon. I'm cultivating her, like a gardener with a particularly beautiful, particularly poisonous plant. I text back, Gibson's, 8 p.m. Wear something that will make me forget my name. Her response is almost immediate, you're trouble. You have no idea, I think, but what I type is only the best kind. Later, at dinner, Sharon is radiant in a black dress that should be illegal. We're seated in a private corner of Gibson's, ironically, the same restaurant where Aaron proposed to her 12 years ago. I made the reservation deliberately, because I'm a bastard who appreciates irony. You're quiet, Sharon observes, sipping her wine. Second thoughts. Never. I reach across the table, taking her hand. But I need to know you're ready for what comes next. The Friday meeting, she says. I'm ready. I've thought through all the angles. I'm not talking about the meeting, I interrupt. I'm talking about Aaron. About what happens when he inevitably discovers what we're doing. She stiffens slightly. He won't. Not until it's too late. You're sure? You don't think he'll notice his wife spending more and more time with her new creative director? Meeting with lawyers he doesn't know about? Moving money into accounts he can't access? Aaron trusts me, Sharon says firmly. Completely. It's his biggest weakness. Or his greatest strength, I counter. Trust is powerful, Sharon. It's the foundation everything else is built on. When that trust shatters, and it will shatter, make no mistake. What do you think happens? She pulls her hand back, eyes flashing with irritation. Are you trying to scare me? Because if you are, I'm trying to prepare you, I say calmly. There's a difference. When Aaron finds out, not if, when he will come for us with everything he has. His company specializes in surveillance, investigation, security. He has resources, connections, skills we can't match in that arena. So what are you suggesting? I lean in close, pitching my voice low enough that only she can hear. I'm suggesting we make sure he can't retaliate. How? Permanently. The word sits between us like a bomb with a lit fuse. Sharon's face goes carefully blank. You want to kill my husband. I want to eliminate a threat, I correct. There's a difference. No, Damon, there really isn't. Fine, then let me phrase it differently. I take a sip of my scotch, gathering my thoughts. We steal Aaron's company. He discovers the theft. He sues, investigates, uses every legal and extra-legal resource available to destroy us. Even if we win in court, which is far from guaranteed, we spend years in litigation. Our names get dragged through the mud. Our reputations destroyed. Everything we're building crumbles. Or, she asks quietly, or we make sure he can't fight back. We stage an accident, a tragedy, the devoted husband working late, a faulty security system, a terrible fire. You're the grieving widow who inherits everything. No legal battles, no investigations, just clean succession. Sharon is trembling now, her wine glass shaking in her hand. You've thought about this, really thought about it. Of course I have. That's what separates winners from losers, Sharon. Winners think 10 steps ahead. They anticipate problems before they become problems. This isn't a problem. This is murder. This is survival. I reach for her hand again, and this time she lets me take it. Look at me. Look at me. Do you want to be free? Truly free? Free to build the empire you deserve? To become the woman you were always meant to be? Or do you want to spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder, waiting for Aaron to discover what you've done and take everything away? Her honey brown eyes search mine, looking for, what? Absolution? Permission? An escape route? She won't find any of those things, because I'm not offering them. I need time, she whispers. We don't have time. The window for this is narrow. The Friday meeting is our first major move. After that, every day we wait is a day Aaron might discover something. I can't decide to kill someone over dinner at Gibson's, Damon. That's not how this works. Then how does it work? I challenge. You think there's a right way to commit murder? A proper protocol? This isn't corporate strategy, Sharon. This is survival of the fittest. And right now, I need to know if you're fit enough to do what needs to be done. She pulls her hand away, standing abruptly. Several other diners glance our way, curious about the beautiful woman who suddenly looks like she might vomit or scream or both. I need air, she says. Sharon, just give me a minute, please. She walks toward the restrooms, her gait unsteady despite her heels. I watch her go, then signal the waiter for another scotch. This is the inflection point, the moment where Sharon either commits fully to this path or backs away. If she backs away, I'll have to adjust my strategy. Find another angle. Maybe frame her for corporate espionage, make her the fall guy while I disappear with Aaron's money. But I don't think she'll back away, because I know Sharon Jones. I've known her since we were teenagers with dreams too big for our neighborhood. I know that underneath the polish and the perfection and the pretense of being Aaron Brown's devoted wife, there's a woman who's been suffocating for years. And suffocating people will do terrible things to breathe. She returns 10 minutes later, her lipstick freshly applied, her mask back in place. I'm in, she says simply, sliding back into her seat. You're sure? I'm sure. Her voice is steady now, resolved. But I have conditions. Name them. First, it can't be traced back to me. Not even a whisper of suspicion. Agreed. That's why we use professionals. People who specialize in making accidents look like accidents. Second, I want a timeline. When this happens. How it happens. Every detail. I'll have that for you by Friday. And third. She pauses, her eyes meeting mine with an intensity that's almost frightening. When it's done, when Aaron is gone and his company is ours, I want guarantees. Legal protections. Evidence that you're as implicated as I am. I smile slowly. You don't trust me. I don't trust anyone, she corrects. Not anymore. You've taught me that much, at least. Fair enough. I raise my glass. To partnership. To power. To becoming who we were always meant to be. She hesitates for only a moment before raising her own glass. To freedom. We drink, sealing our devil's bargain. And in that moment, I feel something unexpected. A flicker of genuine attraction. Not the calculated, strategic attraction I've been performing, but something real. Sharon isn't just beautiful. She's dangerous. She's smart. She's willing to murder her husband, the man she's loved since childhood, to take what she wants. That's intoxicating, which is a problem, because the only thing more dangerous than an enemy is an ally you're starting to care about. I push the feeling aside. Focus on the plan. On the end game. Aaron Brown will be dead within the month. His company will be mine. And Sharon? Sharon will be whatever I need her to be. Part 3. The Hunter. Chapter 7. Aaron, the Investigation. I give myself 48 hours to fall apart. 2 days to rage in private. To punch walls in the home gym until my knuckles bleed. To drink expensive scotch and stare at wedding photos and ask myself how I could have been so fucking blind. 2 days to be the destroyed husband. Then I become something else. I become the hunter. Monday morning, I'm in my office before sunrise. My team thinks I'm preparing for the hospital contract bid. They're not wrong. I am preparing. But not the way they think. I pull up our company's surveillance protocols and make a few adjustments. Nothing illegal. Nothing that would raise flags. Just reordering priorities. Brown Security Solutions monitors thousands of locations across Chicago. Corporate offices, government buildings, private residences, including Jones Brown Advertising's headquarters. We installed their security system 4 years ago. State-of-the-art cameras, encrypted data feeds, motion sensors, the works. Sharon had wanted the best. I'd given it to her. I'd given her everything. Now I'm going to use that generosity against her. My fingers fly across the keyboard, accessing administrative backdoors that only I know exist. Every security system we install has them, emergency access protocols in case of technical failures or security breaches. In 30 seconds, I have a live feed of Jones Brown's executive floor. Sharon's office is empty. It's 6:47 a.m. She won't arrive for another hour. But Damon Jackson's office? Damon Jackson is already there. I zoom the camera in, watching this man I've never met sit behind his desk like he owns the place. He's handsome in that dangerous way, sharp features, expensive suit, the kind of confidence that comes from never being told no. This is the man my wife is fucking. This is the man she's plotting with to steal my company. This is the man who's going to help her kill me. I pull up his background check, the one our HR department ran when Sharon hired him. Clean, mostly. A few red flags about his previous company, but nothing actionable. I need more. I need someone who can dig deeper than a standard background check. Someone who specializes in finding things people desperately want to hide. I need a private investigator. 3 hours later. The office is in a converted warehouse in West Loop. Nothing fancy. Just a door with a nameplate that reads, Jones Investigations, Private and Corporate. I knock twice. It's open. A voice calls from inside. I push through and stop dead. The woman behind the desk is stunning. Not in the polished corporate way Sharon is stunning, but in a raw, natural way that hits me like a physical blow. She's black, with rich dark skin and natural hair styled in thick locks that cascade past her shoulders. No makeup that I can see. Just clear skin and full lips and eyes that assess me with unnerving intensity. She's wearing jeans and a Howard University sweatshirt, somehow looking both casual and completely professional. Mr. Brown, she says, standing and extending her hand. Sasha Jones, thanks for coming in on short notice. Her handshake is firm, confident. Her palm is calloused, someone who works with her hands, not just behind a computer. You came highly recommended. I manage, trying to regain my equilibrium. By whom? She asks, gesturing for me to sit in one of the leather chairs facing her desk. Michael Chun. He said you helped him with a corporate espionage case last year. Sasha nods, settling back into her own chair. The pharmaceutical company theft. Yeah, that was a good one. Took 6 months, but we got the evidence he needed. She leans forward, elbows on her desk. So, what brings the CEO of Brown Security Solutions to my humble operation? Can't imagine you need help with surveillance. This isn't about surveillance, I say carefully. This is personal. Her expression doesn't change, but something in her eyes sharpens. Go on. I take a breath. This is the moment. Once I say the words out loud, once I tell a stranger that my wife is betraying me, it becomes real in a way it hasn't been yet. I need you to investigate my wife. Sasha doesn't react with shock or surprise. She simply pulls out a legal pad and pen. What's her name? Sharon Brown, CEO of Jones Brown Advertising. Now Sasha's eyebrows rise slightly. Your wife is Sharon Brown? The power couple Sharon Brown. We're not as powerful as the press makes us seem, I say bitterly. Okay. Sasha writes something on her pad. What am I investigating? Infidelity? Financial irregularities? Something else? All of the above. I pull out my phone, opening the screenshot I've kept encrypted on 3 different backup drives. 3 days ago, my wife sent me this text by accident. She meant to send it to someone else. I hand her the phone. Watch her face as she reads. Phase 1 complete. He suspects nothing. Meeting with our lawyers Friday to discuss the transfer protocols. Once you're officially CD, we can start moving his assets. The offshore accounts are ready. I can't wait to watch his face when he realizes what he's lost. What we've won. Sasha reads it twice, then looks up at me with something that might be sympathy. That's. She pauses. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, I say. Be thorough. I need to know everything. Who she's working with, what the plan is, where my assets are going. And most importantly, I lean forward, my voice dropping. I need to know if she's planning to kill me. Kill you? Sasha's voice sharpens. You think this is more than corporate theft? The man she hired as her creative director? Damon Jackson, former CEO of Sentinel Security Systems. My competitor. He's not a creative director. He's a corporate raider with a history of fraud and espionage. And now he's in my wife's office, in her company, probably in her bed. I pull up the background check on my phone, sliding it across the desk to Sasha. She scans it quickly, her expression growing darker. This guy is bad news. I know. And you think they're planning to... What? Stage an accident? Make it look like you died in some tragedy, so your wife inherits everything? I think they're planning something, and I need to know what before it's too late. Sasha sets down her pen, studying me with those intense eyes. Mr. Brown, Aaron. Can I call you Aaron? Please. Aaron, what you're describing is conspiracy to commit murder. If you're right about this, we're not just talking about hiring a PI. We're talking about gathering evidence for law enforcement. Building a criminal case. Are you prepared for that? For your wife to potentially spend the rest of her life in prison. The question hits me like a sledgehammer. Am I prepared for that? For Sharon, the girl with beads in her hair, the woman I've loved for 20 years, to go to prison? I'm prepared, I hear myself say, to protect myself, and to make sure that whoever tries to destroy me faces consequences. Sasha nods slowly. Fair enough. My rate is $500 an hour, plus expenses. For something this complex, I'll need a retainer. $20,000 should get us started. Done. And I'll need access to any surveillance footage you have of Jones Brown Advertising. Any emails, texts, financial records you can legally provide. The more I have to work with, the faster I can build a case. I can get you everything. Legally, Sasha emphasizes. I don't work with illegally obtained evidence. It's useless in court and can get us both in trouble. Understood. She extends her hand again. Then we have a deal. I'll start digging today. I should have preliminary findings within a week. I shake her hand, and this time I'm prepared for the electric current that seems to run between us. Prepared, but not immune. Thank you, I say, for taking this on. Don't thank me yet, Sasha replies. What I find might be worse than you think. Or it might be nothing. A misunderstanding, a poorly worded text, paranoia. Are you prepared for either outcome? I'm prepared. I lie. Because the truth is, I'm not prepared for any of this. Not for my wife's betrayal. Not for the possibility that she wants me dead. Not for the way the stranger with intense eyes and a Howard sweatshirt makes me feel something I haven't felt in years. Hope. Chapter 8. Sasha, the Truth Seeker. Aaron Brown is either the best liar I've ever met, or he's genuinely devastated. I'm betting on devastated. 20 years in this business has given me a pretty good bullshit detector, and this man, he's not bullshitting. The pain in his eyes when he handed me that text message was real. The anger simmering beneath his controlled exterior was real. The attraction crackling between us, that was real too. And that's a problem. I don't usually work infidelity cases anymore. Too messy. Too emotional. People hire me to confirm what they already know, then blame me for the confirmation. It's bad business and worse karma. But this isn't just infidelity. This is corporate espionage. Conspiracy. Possibly conspiracy to commit murder. This is the kind of case that makes careers. The kind that could put my boutique investigation firm on the map. So why am I sitting in my office at 11 p.m., staring at Aaron Brown's face on my computer screen, Feeling things I definitely should not be feeling about a client? Professional hazard, I tell myself. He's handsome, successful, vulnerable. It's natural to feel sympathy. Except what I'm feeling isn't sympathy. It's recognition. Like looking in a mirror and seeing someone who understands betrayal the same way you do. Deep in the bones. In the places that never fully heal. Focus, Sasha. I mutter, pulling up the files Aaron sent over this afternoon. He wasn't kidding about having resources. The man gave me access to 6 months of surveillance footage from Jones Brown Advertising, financial records for both his company and his wife's, copies of contracts, emails, everything. All obtained legally, he assured me. Everything covered under the security service agreements Brown Security Solutions has with various clients. I start with the surveillance footage from last Friday, the day Aaron received that damning text message. Jones Brown's executive floor. Sharon Brown's office. I watch her work throughout the day, meetings, phone calls, the usual CEO routine. Then at 6:47 p.m., Damon Jackson enters her office. He closes the door behind him. I switch camera angles, trying to get a view through the glass walls, but the blinds are drawn. Of course they are. They're in there for 43 minutes. When Damon finally emerges, his shirt is slightly rumpled. Sharon appears in the doorway 30 seconds later, her hair mussed, her lipstick gone. Well, I say to my empty office, that's not great. I fast forward through the next few hours. At 8:23 p.m., Sharon leaves the building. According to Aaron's information, she told him she had a client emergency and came home at midnight. Where was she for 3.5 hours? I pull up her credit card records, another thing Aaron had legal access to, since they have joint accounts. There. Gibson's Steakhouse. Reservation at 8 p.m. under the name Jackson. I cross-reference with Damon Jackson's credit card records, obtained through some creative database searching that exists in a legal gray area, but I'm not telling Aaron that. Dinner for two. $437. Wine, steaks, dessert. While her husband thought she was handling a client emergency, Sharon Brown was having an intimate dinner with Damon Jackson. I screenshot everything, adding it to my growing evidence file. Next, I dive into Damon Jackson's background. Aaron's preliminary check was thorough, but I go deeper. Criminal records. None. Civil suits. 3. All settled out of court. Business dealings. Shady as hell. Financial records. Even shadier. Sentinel Security Systems, Jackson's previous company, went bankrupt amid allegations of corporate espionage. Jackson himself was never charged, but 6 of his employees were. They all claimed he ordered them to steal proprietary information from competitors. None of them flipped on him. None of them testified against him, which means either Jackson is very loyal to his people or very good at threatening them. I'm betting on threats. I pull up his financial records for the past year. The bankruptcy should have wiped him out, but somehow he's still living well. Expensive condo in River North. High-end restaurants. Designer clothes. Where's the money coming from? I trace his bank accounts. Again, creative database searching that Aaron doesn't need to know about. Deposits from various LLCs and shell corporations. Nothing directly traceable, but the pattern is clear. Damon Jackson is running some kind of operation. And now that operation involves Sharon Brown. My phone buzzes. A text from Aaron. Any updates? I glance at the time, 11:47 p.m. The man should be sleeping, not texting his PI in the middle of the night. Then again, if my spouse was plotting my murder, I probably wouldn't be sleeping either. I call him instead of texting back. He answers on the first ring. Sasha. His voice is rough, tired. You're working late. So are you, apparently. Can't sleep. Keep thinking about everything. I hear something in the background, the clink of ice in a glass. He's drinking. You alone? Ask. Yeah. Sharon's at some advertising conference in New York. At least that's where she says she is. Want me to confirm? Can you? I can confirm anything, Aaron. That's my job. I pull up another screen, accessing hotel records. What hotel is she supposed to be staying at? The Plaza. Some industry event. I type quickly, navigating through databases I definitely shouldn't have access to but do because I'm very good at my job. She's checked in. I confirm. Room 1847. Checked in this afternoon at 2:37 p.m. Is she alone? This is the question every betrayed spouse asks. The one they don't really want the answer to. Give me a minute. I pull up the hotel security footage. Access courtesy of a former client who owns a private security firm contracted by the Plaza. Sometimes the network you build in this business is worth more than the paycheck. There. Sharon Brown in the lobby, checking in. Alone. She goes to the elevator. Rides up. Then, at 3:12 p.m., Damon Jackson enters the same elevator. Goes to the same floor. I watch him walk down the hallway. Stop at room 1847. The door opens. Sharon pulls him inside. Aaron. I say carefully. She's not alone. Silence on the other end. Long enough that I think he might have hung up. Then, Damon. More silence. Then a sound that might be a bitter laugh or a sob. Of course. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. He says, his voice hardening. You're not doing anything wrong. You're showing me the truth. The truth isn't something to apologize for. No, I agree. But it still hurts. Yeah. He takes a breath. What else did you find? I walk him through everything. The dinner at Gibson's, Damon's shady financial history, the shell corporations, the pattern of deposits that don't make sense for someone who recently went bankrupt. He's planning something, I conclude, and your wife is his accomplice. I don't have proof of murder conspiracy yet, but it's coming, Aaron finishes. You can feel it. I can feel it. How long? He asks. How long before you have enough evidence to do something? A week, maybe 2. I need to establish pattern and intent. Document everything so it's airtight. You want this to stick, Aaron. You want them to face real consequences. I want, he says slowly, to understand why Sharon would do this. We built everything together. Everything. I loved her. I gave her everything I had. Sometimes, I say quietly, that's not enough. Sometimes people want what you can't give them. What's that? Permission to become who they really are. The words hang in the air between us, heavy with meaning neither of us wants to examine too closely. You sound like you've been through this, Aaron observes. I hesitate. I don't talk about my past with clients. It's unprofessional. It creates emotional entanglement that clouds judgment. But something about Aaron Brown makes me want to break my own rules. My ex-husband, I hear myself say. He cheated on me for 2 years, spent our savings on his mistress, took out credit cards in my name to fund their lifestyle. By the time I found out, he destroyed my credit, emptied our accounts, and left me with $100,000 in debt. Jesus, Sasha. Yeah, so I became a PI. Figured if I couldn't save my own marriage, at least I could help other people see the truth before it destroyed them. Did you? Aaron asks. See the truth? Or did you miss signs like I did? I missed them, I admit. I trusted him completely, believed every lie, every excuse, every late night at the office. I was so busy building my career, proving I could be successful, that I didn't notice my husband was building a whole other life. I'm sorry. Now who's apologizing? I ask, trying to lighten the mood. Aaron laughs, and the sound does something to my chest. Makes it tighten in a way that's both pleasant and alarming. We're a mess, he says. We're survivors. I correct. There's a difference. Is there? There is. Survivors don't just endure the damage. They learn from it. They become stronger. They make sure no one ever hurts them that way again. Is that what you did? Became stronger? I became harder, I say honestly. I'm not sure that's the same thing. Maybe not. Aaron is quiet for a moment. Sasha, can I ask you something personal? You just heard my whole tragic backstory. I think we're past professional boundaries. Do you ever? He pauses, choosing his words carefully. Do you ever feel like you can't trust anyone anymore? Like everyone is just waiting for the right opportunity to betray you? My heart breaks a little for him, for us, for everyone who's ever been gutted by someone they loved. Every day, I whisper. Every single day. How do you live like that? I don't know, I admit. I work. I investigate other people's betrayals. I keep myself too busy to think about my own. And I tell myself that one day I'll be ready to trust again. But you're not. But I'm not. We sit in silence, connected by phone lines and shared pain and something else. Something neither of us is ready to name. I should let you sleep, Aaron finally says. You've got work to do, evidence to gather, a conspiracy to unravel. Aaron, wait. Yeah, be careful. If Sharon and Damon are planning what we think they're planning, you could be in real danger. I'm always careful. It's kind of my job. I'm serious. Don't confront her. Don't let on that you know anything. Just be careful. I will. He pauses. Sasha? Yeah. Thank you. For listening. For caring. For not treating this like just another case. It's not just another case. I say before I can stop myself. No. He agrees quietly. It's not. We hang up, and I sit in the darkness of my office, staring at surveillance footage of Sharon Brown and Damon Jackson, and I realize something terrifying. I'm getting emotionally involved. I'm starting to care about Aaron Brown in ways that have nothing to do with professional obligation. And that's dangerous. That's how you lose objectivity. That's how you make mistakes. But as I watch Damon Jackson walk into Sharon's hotel room, as I imagine Aaron sitting alone in his house drinking scotch and wondering where everything went wrong, I can't make myself care about professional boundaries. Care about him. And I'm going to make sure his wife and her co-conspirator pay for what they're planning.